YouTube, how's it going? It's your guy Nutzypoo back with another video today, and we're going to be trying something new on this channel for MLB the Show 22 that I hope you guys are really going to enjoy. Now, you guys have been showing out for my offline content, my franchise, my road to the show a little bit less, but the franchise for sure. So we're going to start making a little bit more content centered around franchise and kind of that real life aspect of baseball. What we're going to be doing is we're going to start doing player career sims. These are going to focus on some of the best players in baseball right now and some of those big up-and-coming prospects that people seem to be really excited about. I absolutely love this idea, and I love getting a chance to see into the future to see maybe what these players could become. Do they end up being busts? Do they end up being fantastic? I guess we'll just have to see. First up on tap today, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mike Trout. Mike Trout's been in the league for 11 years, and he has been absolutely incredible. Can he keep that up for another 5, 8, 10 years maybe? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. If you guys are going to enjoy this video, be sure to drop it a like, and also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. It helps me out quite a lot. Without much further ado, let's go check out one of the GOATs, Mike Trout. Honestly unreal. First of all, one of the things you need to know about Mike Trout is since he came into the league, 10 of his 11 years in the league, he has finished top 5 in MVP voting. He's of course won MVP 3 different times. That's absolutely crazy. Let's look at his 11-year total so far. He has 310 career home runs on 1,400 hits, 816 RBIs, and he's a career 305 hitter with a 419 OBP. He slugs around 583 and has a career over 1 OPS, which is absolutely bonkers. Mike Trout is crazy. I want to see if he can keep this up moving forward. He is 30 years old. He's a 99 overall right now for the Los Angeles Angels. And another big thing, I want to see if Mike Trout can get a championship ring before he finishes this up. So let's go ahead and start this simulation. How this is going to work is I'm going to simulate year by year, and then we're going to check out his stats at the end of the year, see if he wins any sort of awards, and also we're going to play any of his big career milestones. So like 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, those kind of things. We're going to go ahead and show you those guys right here on in-game because I think those are really, really cool big moments. By the way, let me know in the comments. I did change up my YouTube camera angle, as you guys can see. Let me know in the comments what you guys feel about that. Let's go ahead and get into some simulation. All right, so we're going to start here in 2022. Let's go ahead and simulate through the All-Star break just to see if Mike Trout does end up being a All-Star this year. So Mike Trout did end up making the All-Star game in 2022. That's awesome. He's killing it so far on the year. 320 average, 15 home runs. Love to see another All-Star appearance out of Mike Trout. Let's simulate to the end of the year and see if he can keep it going. So at the end of the year, the Angels end up going 87-75, which is unfortunately not good enough to make the playoffs. That's actually incredible. Let's go ahead and end the sim real quick just to see what Mike Trout ended up doing. He did deteriorate 1 overall point to 98 overall, and just to let you guys know, in these cuts, I'm going to be going in and messing around with his attributes, because one of the things with MLB The Show is historically their regression system is really, really poor. So I'm going to try to make Mike Trout's regression a little bit more realistic over time, just so we can hopefully get realistic statistics out of him long term. A -1 at 30 years old is not terrible, but if he starts dropping regularly, we're going to have to go ahead and make sure we bump him up. So on the year, he ends up going 320 average, 32 home runs, another 167 hits. That's actually crazy. That's a really, really good year. I'm kind of curious to see what that does for him, league leaders and awards. Mike Trout ends up leading the league in batting average, slugging percentage, on base plus slugging, and WAR with an 8.8. There's virtually no shot he doesn't win MVP here, right? Cy Young goes to Shohei Ohtani. That's crazy. Hank Aaron Award goes to Mike Trout. The Silver Slugger goes to Mike Trout, but he does not win MVP. That goes to Rafi Devers. That is crazy. So that is the end of 2022. Let's go ahead and get into 2023 and see how Mike Trout fares. All right, so we're now to the 2023 All-Star Game. Let's go ahead and take a look at Mike Trout, see if he made another All-Star game. Gotta go to awards real quick, go to All-Star voting. Center field, Mike Trout is an all-star again in 2023. 288 average with only 21 home runs. That's a little bit low for Mike Trout. Let's see if he turns it up for the second half of the season. Hopefully he does. And just like that, the Angels do end up winning their division in 2023 here. Let's go ahead and look at Mike Trout's overall season, and then we'll simulate the playoffs and see if we can make a little bit of a run here. So Mike Trout ends up having a really respectable year again. 290 average, 32 home runs, 91 RBIs, has 96 runs overall. Really good year. He's starting to regress pretty substantially, but he's still 99 overall, which is very good. Let's go ahead and see if he takes home any awards and league leaders. Mike Trout actually does lead the league in base on balls, on base plus slugging, and WAR with an 8.6, which is crazy. Did he win MVP? Shohei Ohtani wins Cy Young. Shohei Ohtani and David Fletcher win Gold Gloves, and Mike Trout wins the Hank Aaron Award. This time, Randy Arozarena takes home the MVP. Let's go ahead and simulate through the playoffs and see if the Mike Trout-led Los Angeles Angels can make a run here. Lose game 1 to Chicago, lose game 2 to Chicago, and the Angels get swept 3 straight games by the Chicago White Sox. Let's go ahead and get into 2024. So we are at the midway point of 2024 now. Let's go ahead and see if Mike Trout made another All-Star game. He does. At the midway point, he's hitting .307 with 18 home runs and 57 RBIs. That's a hell of a start to the season to Mike Trout, and that's another All-Star appearance. Let's go ahead and simulate to the end of the year and see where he comes out on. All right, so in 2024, the Angels finish 87-75, do miss the playoffs. That's actually a really good record to end up missing the playoffs. Let's go ahead and see what Mike Trout ended up doing this season. Still a 99 overall at 32, killing it. .312 average, 40 home runs, 111 RBIs with 94 runs. And he just went over 400 home runs for his career and is at 1,900 hits, which means 2,000 hits should be coming next season. That's crazy. He raises his career average to .306, which is actually wild. Let's go ahead and look at the league leaders real quick. Mike Trout leads the league in slugging percentage and WAR with a 9.0. Let's see if he ends up winning any awards. Imagine a couple. Yeah, Rookie of the Year. Let's go. Wow, Mike Trout doesn't even end up winning an award at all. That's crazy for that kind of season. Let's go ahead and get into 2025. So, for some reason, we got released by the Angels, even though I turned off GM contracts, but that's neither here nor there. We're going to have to watch the rest of Mike Trout's career from the outside looking in, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. Let's go ahead and see if he made the All-Star game this season. He did. .334 average with 30 home runs in the first half of this season. Oh my God, he's getting better with age. What is happening? And unfortunately, this does mean we're not going to be able to player lock any of his moments, which really sucks. But we'll make sure we get that right for the next sim. Let's go ahead and simulate to the end of the year and see if Mike Trout continues up this absolutely torrid pace he's on right now. All right, so Mike Trout does deteriorate a little bit at 33 to 98 years old. He has a ridiculous season in his 33-year-old year. .348 average, 51 home runs, 121 runs, and 111 RBIs. That is absolutely ridiculous. That puts him well over 2,000 hits for his career, and he's closing in on 500 home runs, 465. Let's see if he leads the league in anything. He leads the league in batting average. He leads the league in home runs. He leads the league. You're second in the league in runs. How about OPS? He has to be OPS leader, right? Slugging percentage, he leads the league, and OPS, he leads the league. That's bonkers. Let's go ahead and look at the awards real quick, and he does win his 4th MVP, I'm assuming with most every other thing as well. Wins the batting title, goes ahead and wins the Hank Aaron Award. That is a heck of a year for Mike Trout. Let's get into 2026. So at the halfway point of 2026, let's go ahead and see if Mike Trout ended up being a All-Star again For the first time ever, he is not an all-star starter, even though he hit 340 with 20 home runs and 60 RBIs in the first half. That's not good enough to lock down an all-star spot. So the Angels ended up going 89-73, make the wild card, win the wild card game, and then do get bounced in 4 by the Seattle Mariners. Let's go ahead and take a look at Mike Trout to see what kind of year he had. I'd have to imagine it's very good again. Mike Trout, down to a 93 overall. He is still an A potential, though. Has a rough playoffs, but then overall this year ends up hitting 346 again with 34 home runs. He's 1 home run shy of the 500 home run club, ends up with 2,200 hits. He's starting to deteriorate, but he's still a very, very good player at 93 overall. Let's see if he ended up leading the league in anything. He does not lead the league in anything. Does he win any awards? He finishes 3rd in the MVP race. That's actually really, really solid. Wins the batting title again, wins the Hank Aaron Award. Okay, and I'm assuming that means he's a Silver Slugger as well. He's starting to deteriorate, though. He should hit 500 home runs for his career, which is going to be exciting. Let's see what else he can end up doing in the 2027 season. So it is 2027. It's the All-Star break in 2027. Let's go ahead and look at the awards, see if All-Star voting comes through here. He gets beat out by Ketel Marte again, has 317 average, 53 home runs and 15 home runs. Or 53 RBIs and 15 home runs. That's not good enough to get him an all-star starting position. I'm sure he'll make the all-star team overall. So the Angels end up finishing 77-85 on the season, under 500 for the first time in this career sim. Let's go ahead and look at Mike Trout and see how he ended up performing. Whoa, he deteriorated big time down in A7. He'll probably bounce back a little bit after this. After the postseason, he'll probably get back up to an 88, 89, 90, somewhere in that range. But he is still an 87 overall at 35 years old. Has a really good season again. 304 average, 29 home runs, 88 RBIs. Not quite what you expect out of Mike Trout, but still a very good season nonetheless. His career average is up to 311. He has 528 home runs, 2,400 hits. He's going to need to play another 2 to 3 years to hit that 3,000 hit mark, which would be absolutely bonkers. He might even hit 600 home runs unless he ends up retiring. We'll have to see how that plays out. Let's go ahead and simulate to 2028 midseason, see where Mike Trout is. All right, so Mike Trout ends up finishing 2nd in the All-Star voting again, has a 298 average, 59 RBI, 17 home runs so far this season. He's down to an 83 overall. He's starting to disintegrate pretty quickly. Let's see where he ends up finishing the season at, but we might be coming down to the end of this Mike Trout career. So 36-year-old Mike Trout is down to an 81 overall. That's too low. He's deteriorating way too rapidly. I think I need to bump him up back to like an 84 and 85, but let's go ahead and see how his season went overall. 280 average, 24 home runs, 137 hits. Still very good at 36 years old, to be honest. Wow, that's actually pretty crazy. We actually might move him into left field or right field. Having him as a center fielder, I think, limits his ability to play over the last couple of years of his career. So I think we're going to go ahead and make that change as well. But the more important part here is in his 36-year-old season, the Angels have a chance to do something here. 84 and 78 is good enough to win their division. Let's see if they can do something here in the playoffs. They end up beating the Yankees in 5 games. Mike Trout, for the first time in his career, making a run in the postseason. I want them to win this just for Trout. Oh, no, they're going to get swept. They get swept in the ALCS, I guess, by the Detroit Tigers, who just have to be so good at this point. So Mike Trout's playoff in 2028 ends again without a ring. How unfortunate. Let's go ahead and simulate to the middle of 2029 and see how Trout's doing. So moving Mike Trout over to left field actually did a whole heck of a lot for his overall. As you can see, he jumps back up to a 90 overall when you take him out of center. So I'm kind of curious to see what this does for the simulation. All right, so here we are at the All-Star voting. Mike Trout, 267 average, 15 home runs, 46 RBIs. That's good for 5th in the AL for All-Star voting. He's all the way down to an 80 overall. I think that the end of Mike Trout's career is coming sooner rather than later, unfortunately. So overall, the Angels ended up finishing 84 and 78. Let's see what Mike Trout ended up doing. He's probably not even in in the majors anymore, to be honest, based on how quickly he was deteriorating. He is still at the major league level, but he's down to a 77 overall. Doesn't have a terrible year, 263 average, 21 home runs. He is really, really coming down to the end of his career here. 573 home runs, 2,600 hits, 307 career average. Mike Trout, is this going to be the year he finally retires? Let's see. He does not retire. Mike Trout back for 2030. Let's go. So the Angels end up finishing 81 and 81 in 2030. Let's go ahead and see how Mike Trout ended up faring. He's deteriorating so rapidly, but hopefully he could get through another season. He is still in the majors. He's down to a 72 overall. Hits 270 with 18 home runs at 38 years old. He's muscling it out. He's 9 home runs away from 600. Please, Trouty, play one more year to hit 600 home runs. Mike Trout does not retire. He's coming back for 2031. He probably will not be an Angel, though, so this is about to be crazy. He's going for his 600th home run. Let's see if he can hit it. Let's go, Mike. So Mike Trout does end up re-signing for a 1-year deal with the Los Angeles Angels. I'm actually kind of shocked. He's still hanging on to his 75 overall in left field. Hopefully he can get some at-bats so he can hit that 600th home run. All right, so the Angels end up finishing 74 and 88 and missed the playoffs in their last year. Does Mike Trout hit his 600th home run? Let's take a look. In the year 3031, Mike Trout deteriorates all the way to 63 overall. Please tell me he got to hit. He ends at 599. No. Oh my God. He's going to retire at 599, and that hurts everything in my being. Oh no. He doesn't retire though. Unless he's a free agent, I guess. Nolan Arenado, Manny Machado, and Freddie Freeman all retire before Mike Trout. We're not going to let Mike Trout go out that way, honestly. We're going to go ahead and bump him up back into the low 70s. That deterioration is crazy. I understand he's 40 years old, but it's Mike Trout, man. It's Mike freaking Trout. See if Mike Trout can get one more year here. We bumped him back up to a 72 overall, which is respectable at 40 years old, but he went from 73 to 60 in 1 year. That's so unrealistic regression. I mean, I guess theoretically in real life you could fall off a cliff like that, but I don't feel like Mike Trout, the level player he would be, would fall off the table like that. So, all right, so he's a free agent, 72 overall. So we're going to go ahead and bring him to the Blue Jays for his last year. I know this is sacrilegious, but I don't want him to just be wasted in free agency. Trouty, let's give it one more run. Your final season, is it going to be in Toronto? Just hit one home run for me, Trout, so you can hit the 600 home run club. You deserve it. It's 2032. You're 41 years old. Come on, Trouty. The also crazy part is we have a really good squad here in Toronto, so he actually might make a run at a World Series chip. And the Blue Jays finish 91 and 71 and win their division. Let's see where Mike Trout ended up. He is severely deteriorated by the end of the year. He did hit his one home run to hit 600, though. We need to bring him back up for the playoffs. We're adding Mike Trout to the playoff roster. He gets one more run. Here we go, Trouty. This one's for you. Mike Trout wins the first round. Oh, the Blue Jays get eliminated again in the ALCS. That is painful, and that'll probably be the end of Mike Trout's career here. There's no shot he didn't retire again, right? Bro, he's toast at this point. What do you mean? Oh my goodness, Mike Trout's still sticking around. Let's go ahead and wait for that Hall of Fame induction. And just like that, there it is. He actually didn't end up retiring until 2036, which is actually crazy. His career ends in one of the greatest careers of all time, honestly. 600 home runs, 1,600 RBIs, 300 steals, a career 304 average, and 2,800 hits. Mike Trout is going to go down as one of the greatest of all time in real life, and he's definitely going down as one of the greatest of all time in this career sim. Let me know in the comments how you guys felt about this video. I think I'm going to start doing these pretty regularly. Maybe next time we'll do Juan Soto. Juan Soto could be an interesting career sim. But yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys felt about it. Until next time, guys, be sure to follow me over on Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. All those links are down in the description and below. Also, feel free to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Everyone stay safe out there. Peace.